What's on, movie fans? Miyaza3K here. The next couple of videos, starting with this one, is going to cover videos that have been sitting around that I have picked up. And this is across 2021 and even 2020. Years, anyway. So let's get started because there's quite a few. Alright. Let's see, my friend Chris gave me his copy of Psycho. This is the 50th anniversary edition. And this one has the new Dolby Digital soundtrack, and the latest release has the Dolby Atmos soundtrack. So, but I'm sure it's mostly the same mix, just adapted to the new hardware, and it's pretty interesting, and it looks really good. So that's that. Classic. This is The Hunter from the Future. The movie I saw on cable way back when, in the early 80s. It's a half sci-fi, half sword and sandal kind of mix of a movie. I just learned later from another YouTuber that it was a mini-series cut down to a movie for the States. So it is it's got Reb Brown in it, so and it's just which whom you may know from Space Mutiny. So it's fun. It's not actually from the future. He's sort of a caveman in this story, so I don't know why they call it The Hunter from the Future, but it's imagine the Empire from Star Wars versus, you know, a bunch of Neanderthals. So it's a pretty amusing movie. Ex Machina, about a lot of award-winning movie with Isaac. So let's see, what's his name? Isaac. Oscar Isaac, that you know from Star Wars, the recent Star Wars movies. Guy builds a robot. He wants to give it the ultimate. I wish I could remember the name of that test. It's the ultimate artificial intelligence test, and invites another guy to his remote location / laboratory, and to test it out, but things don't quite go as planned. Sisters, with Amy Poehler and Tina Fey. It's a comedy about a couple sisters. They're getting older. The parents decide to sell the house, but before they sell the house, they want to have one last party in the house. So they want to harken back to their teenage years and have a big party in there. So if you like those party type movies like Bachelor Party or Old School or something like that, I recommend this one. It's really funny. Building Star Trek is another from Smithsonian Channel DVD, the show that aired on that channel. 92 minutes. It's a 50th anniversary celebration of Star Trek. It mainly kind of features the recent restoration of the model of the Starship Enterprise from the original series. So built it, they stored it, and then they loaned it out to a university, and then it went back into storage, and then it ended up at the Smithsonian Museum. So, and it's been absorbing pollutants and a random light radiation ever since. So it needed to be restored, and that's what they did. So it's the story of that. This is The Sleeper. It is autographed by the director, Justin Russell. It was a Made in Ohio movie, and it's about a guy just stalking a sorority house, you know, that old chestnut. And then it's interesting, yeah. If you like, it's one of those retro movies. It's made to look like it was kind of made in the 80s. And yeah, I went to the premiere of it. I think it was at the Grandview Theater a few years ago. So anyway, it was a lot of fun. The Sleeper from Gamma Knife Films. More horror here. This is The Changeling. It stars George C. Scott. I think it's from 1980. Yeah, 1980. It is a murder mystery / ghost story. A guy loses his family. He's a writer, so he goes to a very remote, old, dark house to attempt to start writing again, and then but supernatural, strange noises and supernatural things start to occur, and he ends up investigating a murder that happened there, and it's a really great ghost story. If you look up the trailer to this, actually, do not watch the whole trailer, because the trailer spoils the movie. So, if you look at the trailer, look at half the trailer if you want to see it, and then watch the movie. You have to see if you're interested in it, and then watch the movie. But we'll watch the movie, really. Coming at you. It's a 3D Western, lots of 3D gimmicks, stuff coming at you, and it's a lot of fun. Replicas. This is a Keanu Reeves movie. It's about, he's a scientist, again, like Ex Machina, is a scientist exploring artificial intelligence and robotics, and he loses his family, and he decides to attempt to put their memories into his creations, and the consequences that come from that. It's a good movie. Some of the special effects are a little bit short, a little lacking, but other than that, it's a really good movie. Hollywood Boulevard is a Alan Arkish movie. It's a movie about making movies. I believe Roger Corman produced it. Oh, sorry, Joe Dante and Alan Arkish directed it. But it was made from Roger Corman's studio. So they show them making a movie, but they're borrowing props from previously made movies, and then they show a clip of that movie. So there's a bunch of clips of Roger Corman movies in this, and they're just sort of using it to weave a little tale that turns into a murder mystery. And but it's also really funny. There's a lot of Hollywood gags in it, and it's pretty funny. Ad Astra. This is a good movie, very well made movie. If you liked Interstellar, you might want to watch this. But it's basically Apocalypse Now in space. Brad Pitt stars as a guy. He needs to go to, I believe, somewhere around Jupiter or one of Jupiter's moons to investigate what happened to his father, and whether he's still alive or not, because they lost contact with him. All right. Let's see. We got Synchronicity. It's a really good time travel tale, and the guy invents a time travel portal, and out of the corner of his eye he sees something, and other things start happening around him, and it has to do with what he saw and what's going to happen. It's just turns into a time loop with a few different levels to it, and it's a pretty good movie. Synchronicity. It's a Michael Ironside in it. Always good to see him. But the rest of them are kind of unknown to me, at least. Got the Plague Dogs. It's an animated movie from the 80s, directed by Martin Rosen. I believe it's based on a book. Yeah, from the novel by Richard Adams, author of Watership Down. So if you liked Watership Down, you probably like Plague Dogs. It's about some dogs, a couple of dogs escape a laboratory, and people are hunting them down, and that's kind of the drama and misunderstandings and of them escaping and the situations they get in while they're trying to escape and try to find some safe place to be. It's a dark movie, really. It's not a cutesy movie. That's not a Disney movie, so if you watch it, beware. Blue Underground copy of Daughters of Darkness. I think there's a different version of this out there now, but this is just the original, the first Blu-ray to have come out of it. Some people call this an early version of The Hunger. It's got, I think, John Carlin in it from Dark Shadows, and let's see, a couple of other people. It's a vampire tale. A couple are on their honeymoon. They go to a hotel in Europe. It's a little bit reminiscent of the hotel that's in The Shining, only it's more European, of course. And they get mixed up with a kind of a mature vampire lady and her minion vampire person. And it's kind of like The Hunger, because it's just a tad sexy. So, Daughters of Darkness. Iron Sky. This is kind of an outrageous movie. Outrageous high concept, and it's about what if Nazis somehow escaped Earth and they're living on the far side of the moon, just gathering up their forces and developing technology so that they can reinvade Earth, take over, pick up where they left off. And it's just the Reich strikes back. So it's a pretty crazy movie. It's funny. It's funny and thrilling. It's a modern day tale though, so it doesn't take place in the 40s or anything like that. And it's from what's this from? 2012. So, and there's actually a sequel to it, but I have yet to get that. Frankenhooker. Crazy tale. It's a Frankenstein story. Guy guy with a who's an amateur scientist, just not even a scientist, just an amateur scientist. He his girlfriend gets killed and decides to piece together different women, parts of different women to try to develop a new body for her, because he's able to preserve her head. And so the only women that are available are, of course, hookers. So we got Frankenhooker. Crazy cult humorous movie from 1990. Big Trouble in Little China. John Carpenter, a truck driver, and his friend get mixed up in a kind of a oriental lore of magic and wizards and even a couple of monsters in there in the West Coast, in Chinatown, and it's a crazy ride. It's from the writer of The Adventures of Buckaroo Banzai. So, but it's a well-developed story, a well-written story actually, but it's crazy. Let's see, fish out of water kind of tale. You know, a tough guy in this trying to deal with all this magical spells and martial arts and stuff like that. And it's a wild ride. From I believe 1986. Yep. The Midnight Special. Midnight Special was a TV show. I think it was a little bit before my time, or it was just on too late at night for me to watch when I was that young. Anyway, 70s and early 80s. It's a variety show, comedy and music. And this particular one features comedians. Steve Martin, Billy Crystal, Joan Rivers, George Carlin, and the ever popular Bill Cosby. So, I haven't watched this one yet, but want to get into that one. This is An American Werewolf in London. Classic horror. If you don't know this movie, you do not know horror. And Full Moon Edition, it says. Anyway, this is not the, I believe Arrow put out a deluxe version of this recently, so I don't know if I have to get that one or not. I probably don't. I'm pretty happy just having the movie. It's good, and it still has quite a few extras on it. It's very well known for its man to wolf man, or in this case man to wolf transformation scene that as yet has never really been topped. I mean, it's a horrifying, realistic, graphic transformation scene, and it's just amazing. And it's a definite must see if you are a horror fan. And also some classics are the Indiana Jones movies. So yeah, I just got these recently actually. So this one, don't really have much to say about it. If you haven't seen these, then you've been living under a rock. So it does include the Crystal Skull movie, which a lot of people didn't quite like, but I thought it was okay. It was okay. But I'm really glad to have these on Blu-ray, because I didn't even really have them on DVD really. So I'm glad to pick this up. They're nice, skinny little set. It says on here that it includes the making of all 4 Indiana Jones movies. And it's true and not true. It does have the original making of for Raiders, the whole hour-long vintage making of thing. The others were pieced together. It does have a lot of the footage from those vintage films, making ofs, but it's not the whole thing. So it doesn't have great movie stunts or the making of the Temple of Doom or the TV special that was kind of half the making of The Last Crusade. So as for Kingdom, the Skull movie, who cares? Anyway, that is that. That is part one of this pile that I've been trying to show you for quite some time. Stay tuned. If I can say it right. I will give you another pile. For me, it'll be a few minutes. For you, I don't know. But I will catch you later, and that's it. Goodbye.